Hello, everyone. Welcome. I'm the Progressive Hoodie, and welcome to the Progressive Hoodie. So, today, Michael Bloomberg has qualified for the Nevada debate. This debate will be taking place tomorrow. I believe MSNBC will be hosting it, so expect it to just be a hot mess. Just go ahead and expect that right off the bat because we already know what trash MSNBC is. But this was a news NPR/PBS NewsHour poll, and he got 19% in that poll, second only to Bernie Sanders. So he has qualified for the debate, to which I say, great, awesome. So glad about it. Now, I know a lot of us are not happy about this, and we don't want Bloomberg to qualify. We feel like it's unfair that the Democrats have changed the rules midstream. Let's be clear, it is unfair. It is absolutely wrong that the Democrats have decided to change the standard and be like, oh, well, grassroots funding, grassroots support, I mean, who cares, If you're a billionaire, if you're rich enough to be able to buy your way in, you too should also get up here on the election, on the stage for the debate. So that's just the way it's going to work here. And there's nothing we can do about it now at this point other than say, oh, DNC, you're wrong. But when have they ever responded to that before? I think, though, that this is actually really good and it is preferable. And the number one reason I have for that is because, really, when he gets on the debate stage, he can be challenged. Mike Bloomberg has, up until this point, pretty much just drifted along on his own little lonely river as he's put out propaganda all over the country, all over every television station. He's been buying up ads on television, buying up ads on Facebook, on new media, on YouTube. You can't watch a video without seeing his ads. I mean, the dude's been buying out ads in your dreams. I mean, you go to sleep and there's Bloomberg ads. I mean, that's just how rich this guy is and how much money he is spending on this election. And so all that's going unchallenged. And I mean, sure, candidates every now and then will be asked about Bloomberg. And what do you think about this? What do you think about this billionaire oligarch buying the election? Isn't that great? And it's like, no, it's not. What the heck is wrong with you? But to have that direct challenge, to have to answer in a direct time when it's unscripted. We saw Pete Buttigieg when he was really truly challenged and pressed on his record at the last debate. We saw how terrible he was, how he fell apart. We've seen in debate after debate after debate how Joe Biden can't really hack it. He doesn't really have the chops that it takes to really hang with these other much more skilled, I think, debaters. So let's get into it. Now, yes, there's the propaganda angle, which obviously we need to confront. And so having the other candidates up there to talk to him and fight back against it is important. But also, he's been attacking Bernie Sanders. Realize that he has now run an ad that attacks Bernie Sanders specifically for his supporters, the quote-unquote Bernie bros, right? I mean, it's just ridiculous. Like I've always said, and will continue to say, the Bernie bros don't exist, right? There are Bernie supporters, and some of them are nicer and good people and cool, and some of them aren't. I mean, whatever. That's those individual people, and each candidate does not need to give an account for what their followers do. That's just not necessary unless the rhetoric you're using and the things that you're saying are clearly something that we can directly tie to the things that they're doing. So if you're saying we should get out there on Twitter and harass my opponents, then yes, we can say, look, Bernie, you got to do something about your followers because this is a little bit ridiculous. But if he's saying, hey, I want Medicare for all, I want free college, I want us to end the wars, I want a living wage, I want us to do things that are going to help the people of this country, and people go, hey, but one of your supporters said to me online that I was ugly. I mean, my response to that would be like, oh, okay, well, go tell him that you don't appreciate that and you want him to apologize to you. I'm not going to apologize to you. I didn't say that. So what do I need to give? I don't need to give an account for that. I'm not responsible for that. He is, or she is. In a lot of cases, it's she. The white males there's some white males that are supporting Bernie Sanders, of course, but his base is not primarily white males. He's got the most diverse coalition of any of the candidates right now. Most diverse. So it's just absolutely ridiculous. I'm not going to apologize for every white male that calls you, um, you know, I don't know, blockhead online. I'm not going to apologize for every person that describes you accurately online. Like, I'm not going to do that. That's your problem. If you don't like it, go talk to them. So it's absolutely ridiculous. But he ran an ad attacking Bernie Sanders supporters. Why? Because he doesn't have any real substance to attack on actual policies and to say, hey, here's why I disagree with this policy. Why don't you go that route? No, instead you got to talk about a, a fraction. What is it, like 7% of Americans are you use Twitter? A fraction of the support of Bernie Sanders is what you're going to go after and act like that is representative of the movement as a whole. And then you look at some of the tweets they be posting. It's like, well, that said hashtag Yang Gang, so I don't know what's going on there. And that's a snake emoji. I mean, and that person thought Elizabeth Warren was a snake for stabbing someone in the back. I mean, that's kind of what snakes do. Like, I mean, really, you want me to not call this like I see it? So somebody cheats on their wife and she calls him a dog or whatever. Is she the one that's out of line for calling names? I mean, maybe she shouldn't be calling names, but maybe he should not cheat on her with every woman that comes along. Maybe he should have a little self-control. Maybe he should be an honorable person and not a piece of trash. I mean, so the idea that somehow this now comes to people that are accurately portraying the nonsense that we're seeing from Elizabeth Warren and some of these other campaigns is just ridiculous. And of course, he's not going to talk about record because let's look at Bloomberg's record. I mean, you got stop and frisk, which is just, I mean, that alone is a disqualifier because of the fact, for a few reasons. Number one, you didn't apologize for it until like right before you were going to run for president. That's not how this works. That's not how apologies work. Oh, I'm sorry that would hurt my chances of being elected is not an apology. So, not accepted, and go sit down somewhere. But then also he was so vigorously trying to defend it, and he's lied about it and said, "Oh well, I inherited it, and oh well, it went down during my time." No. Those are lies. Yes, technically it wasn't like something that wasn't happening before he came in, but he ramped that thing up. For him to say I brought it down, yeah, after you ramped it up, like what is that? Like, and even when courts said, you know what, maybe not something that should be going on, you tried to fight that and you disagreed with that. So you have been a proponent of stop and frisk and have been pushing it aggressively. Not just being like, well, we're doing. No, you've been like, oh no, this is what needs to happen. In fact, we're not stopping enough black people. We're disproportionately stopping too many white people. And I mean, any, black person between the age of 16 and 25, just hand that out, man. Just make photocopies of that. That right there is every person that's doing all these crimes, pretty much. I mean, really? To say that about black males, to say that about minority males, is absolutely ridiculous and a disqualifier. How can you think that you can win the Democratic nomination with that kind of a record? So he wants to stay as far away from people's actual records on real issues, such as race relations, because he is the last one, literally, even including Pete Buttigieg, he is the last one that needs to have anything to say on that, and that we should be trying to run against Donald Trump. Please. All right. So Central Park 5, I mean, we're not going to get into it, but I mean, this is a guy who, even in the face of exonerating evidence, was like, nope, they're still guilty. I mean, you equal Trump. In fact, you're worse than Trump because you were actually in a position to do something, a position of power, a position of authority. Donald Trump was just being Donald Trump. But you were actually in a position of authority to be able to do something, and for you to sit there and do that, it's just absolutely ridiculous. And then once again, when you're questioned about it, watch it. There's a press conference. Go find it where they're asking him about it. He's like, "Oh well, I do." He's acting like he doesn't know anything about it and he's not sure and he's not like, dude, you were the mayor. I can't. I can't. Um, his foreign policy sucks. I mean, he's a Republican. He's a Republican. I mean, period. Um, he supported Bush's reelection. Reelection. I mean, it's one thing to get it wrong the first time and to support Bush, but then after we saw what a dunce he was, he supported the reelection of George W. Bush. If that's not a Republican, I don't know what is. We got the sexist comments he said. He told one woman she was pregnant, he told her to kill it. I mean, these kinds of sexist and disgusting comments that he's made about women, I mean, just go look it up. There's a plethora of them. He's got like, what, 60 sexual assault cases, I think, that were filed against him. I mean, just it goes on and on and on, people. And I know a lot of times when people say it goes on and on and on, that's because they're at the end of their list, but there's actually more. No, it really does go on and on. I mean, he's against the living wage. He is, I mean, he's against like things like sick leave. I mean, it really truly does go on and on with this guy. And so there's no end. We could spend an entire 2-hour debate attacking him and his atrocious record. And that's what I hope happens at this debate. It needs to be just incessant. It needs to be just nonstop, the attacks. Every question, I'd be bringing it right on back. I'd find a way to attack Bloomberg. Even if not directly, I'd make a glancing swipe at him. Every question, I would find a way to get a blow in, even if it was underhanded and not a direct quote, so he didn't get more speaking time. I would find a way to stick some jabs into Bloomberg with every answer, because he's absolutely terrible. There's not a subject almost that we could go into that he's not awful. Wow. This is the Republican that they want to run against the other Republican, and then want to look at you like you crazy when you don't vote for him. Crazy. Just crazy. So anyway, let's move on. So what are some possible concerns? Because I do think that there are some people that are like, hey, I'm concerned. There are some things that I maybe, like one, like, will it help? Is it possible that being in the debate could help him? And of course it is. I mean, if he gets up there and he's well-spoken, very articulate, he looks presidential, has a above it all, above the fray kind of feel about it, and he seems like he's really in this for the right reasons, that could definitely help his chances to be seen in this broader context. And when you're in a debate, once you qualify for the debates, you really start to be taking that next level of serious, And so I understand that concern, but I don't think it's going to help because it's greater scrutiny. When all you've had up until this point are networks that are like, yeah, we'll take your money and spread your propaganda everywhere, display your ad everywhere, whether it's filled with truth or lies or stupidity or not. We'll spread that out everywhere. We'll put that out for everyone to see. How much money are we getting? Like, when it's all about that, and there's no body that's countering your nonsense, and then you go from that to a point where it's like, oh, what about stop and frisk? Oh, what about the sexist garbage you said about women? We're going to see. Elizabeth Warren has tried to be Little Miss Slay Queen. She's trying to be Little Miss Slay Queen. So we're going to see tomorrow if Little Miss Slay Queen is going to actually bring up something of substance, because she's been like, oh yeah, oh my gosh, I just love Amy Klobuchar. She's so wonderful, and those terrible sexist Bernie bros. Do you all really need more evidence that she's not a progressive? Anyway, I mean, she's running with a Hillary Clinton narrative. It's like saying Obama boys. That's what she's doing now. And people want to act like she's still a progressive. It's laughable at this point. I'm literally laughing at you people. You're ridiculous. You need to wake the heck up. And you need to wake up now. Just ridiculous. So we're going to see if she will attack him specifically on that, so she wants to be all about having those moments. Then we're going to see if she's going to bring it when it regards to his sexist comments that he said about women and the 60 some odd sexual assault claims that have been filed against him. We're going to see if any of that stuff is going to be mentioned. Somehow I have a feeling she won't even touch that with Bloomberg, which just shows that she is a tool of the establishment at this point. A tool of the establishment. So, anyway, that's her. I think generally, more scrutiny doesn't help you. We're talking about Michael Bloomberg here. He's not charismatic. He's not super engaging to watch. I mean, have you seen him give a press conference? I mean, my gosh, talk about wanting to go to sleep. It ain't fun to watch. And as I've mentioned before, his record is terrible. So there's just there's so much material. And if you've seen him also, when he does get challenged, he gets really testy and really irritable. And I'm looking forward to seeing that tomorrow night. I believe we will see it, and I can't wait. It is going to be glorious. So I am hoping that he will be challenged so hard that it will cause him to have one of those irritable moments, and we will see just how unpresidential he is and just how badly he will lose his cool if he goes up against Donald Trump. I mean, these guys have really been playing patty cakes with each other. Let me tell you that right now. And if he can't even handle this Democratic primary from what we've seen, the way that they've been playing nice with each other, if he can't even handle that, he's not going to be able to handle Donald Trump. Another concern that I've heard raised, and this is an interesting one, is will he actually even show up? There are some political pundits who are questioning whether he'll even show up or why he should even show up. They're saying, well, yeah, technically he has been prepping for this for a while, but I mean, what benefit is there to showing up when he could just continue to propagandize and not have to confront anybody directly? You know, there's a quote from Michael Bloomberg that he said recently. He said, this is about the debate, by the way. This is concerning the debates. He said, you know me, I like a fight, so I think it'd be fun to go and compete. Oh, all right then. Well, step on in, Mikey. Step on in. Step on in. Step on in, Mr. Stop and Frisk, and let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. Because, you know, I honestly believe that it will not be good for him. So I do agree. It would probably be better strategically for him to continue. I mean, he's continuing to go up. He's going slowly but surely up, a little more, up. I mean, why change it up now? Oh, well, I'm sick. If I was him, I'd get sick. That would be my strategy. I would not show up to the debate. I mean, I don't know why I'm giving him help, but I mean, it is what it is. I would get sick. I would be like, oops, I was just, y'all don't want to see me uppity chucking all over the debate podium, do you? That's gross. Blowing chunks all over Elizabeth Warren. So I'm just going to not show up. That's what I would expect. That's what I would do. But I think he's probably a little bit too prideful for that. And he has been preparing. So I don't see any reason why he wouldn't, considering those things. So, I mean, yes, it is a possibility, but I really feel like he will and should. And he needs to put his money where his mouth is. And one final point. If he didn't show up, if I was Bernie Sanders, if I am Bernie Sanders, or anyone else on that stage, Klobuchar, doesn't matter. Either way, he threatens my chances at becoming president. He doesn't show up to this debate tonight, I got news for you. That changes nothing. Changes nothing. Because I'm going after him just as hard as if he was in the debate. I'll bring up the fact that he qualified for the debate, and he qualified despite the fact that so many other African Americans that the DNC claims to care about and claims to care about their representation didn't qualify. And when those people asked for the rules to be changed to help them, they didn't bother to do that. But now they have changed the rules for this guy because he's rich and they want that Bloomberg cash. I sure would. And then I would go after Bloomberg on all these different issues. And I'd be like, look at this punk. Look at this punk, this wimp that won't even show up to a debate, won't even show up to the fight, talks a big game, talking about, oh, I love a fight. Oh, I think it'd be fun to go and compete. And then he doesn't even show up. You guys think that that kind of wimpy, weak patheticness is what we need to run against Donald Trump? Someone who doesn't even have the intestinal fortitude to get on the stage and mix it up with the other candidates. He wants to just continue to sit and propagandize you, the American people. He just wants to continue to buy advertisement on this very network that you're watching this on. And he thinks that he should be able to purchase the presidency. He literally is trying to. I would really go after him, maybe even harder if he didn't show up. That's more proof that this guy literally does not want to earn it. He doesn't want to earn it, honestly. He doesn't want to mix it. He doesn't want to go through the stuff that the rest of the common people have to go through. He literally wants to purchase the presidency. He doesn't want to show up to a debate. He wants to buy the White House. And I would hammer that home so hard, man. The fact that Bloomberg wasn't there wouldn't change a bit of my strategy. We were all preparing for him to qualify because he only needed one more, good showing. I think 10% or something like that was the qualifying, and one more poll in order to qualify for the debate. So we all knew it was a possibility he could end up in the debate anyway. So I would have already been preparing for this moment, and I wouldn't let a thing that I was going to say to him go unsaid just because he wasn't on the stage to defend himself. You guys aren't there to defend yourself when he runs those crazy ads. Bernie Sanders isn't there to defend himself when he runs those crazy ads attacking random people online that may or may not support Bernie Sanders with that garbage nonsense ad that he put out there for us to unfortunately see. I mean, there's no way in heck I'd be pulling any punches. I'd be punching Bloomberg from wherever he is so hard he'd be feeling it when he was flying whatever in his $1 billion jet, wherever he's flying to. He'd be feeling the punches right from wherever he. Who just punched me? I feel like somebody just knocked me in the head. Yeah, turn on the television, you'll see what just happened. Because I'd be going in on Bloomberg. So anyway, that's it for this one. I think I'm going to try to do one that will later on today that will be talking about. Sorry, let me start that sentence over again because that was a mess. I will try to record another video today where I'll give my predictions and also potential strategies like I did last time for what the candidates should do, might do in this upcoming debate and what I think we're going to see. So, all right, everyone have a wonderful and happy Tuesday. Goodbye.